was built out of sandstone that was quarried on Gadigal and Womble country.
Today's proceedings. So Encore Event Technologies will be filming and live streaming the ceremony. As you can see, we've got the QR code appearing on screen, so if you have any family or guests who are interested in watching the ceremony but were unable to attend, please feel free to scan the QR code and send the link to your family and friends. GFP events will be photographing each of the graduates as they cross the day today. So those stage photos will be available at the GFP kiosk over at the Nucleus Museum, which is just on the opposite end of the club. Also the GFP kiosk, there will be studio photography, framing and class for you to purchase as well. We do ask the guests to please be mindful during the ceremony when taking photos is to not obstruct the aisleways of the red carpet or approach the dais at any time during the ceremony. To the graduates, please ensure you're sitting in the Greek seat number because we want you to leave here with the correct degree today. If you have any questions or concerns, just raise your hands and one of our ushers will come in and assist you. So for the graduates, when the ceremony commences, it's going to look a little something like this. You'll be called out of their seat, you'll be asked to line up down the side aisle. They'll get you looking good and looking fresh, and then they'll check you off to make sure you're in the correct order. Once that's complete, they'll ask you to stand on the mark on the top step. And when you get to the mark on the top step, the dean, who will be at the left hand that I'm standing at now, will announce your name. Would the audience note that when the dean announces the graduate's name, this is absolutely the best time to make as much noise as you can with the graduate. So graduates, when the dean announces your name, you simply salute the dean and make your way into the centre of the dais. At this stage, we would appreciate if you could minimise physical contact and not shake hands with the presiding officer, but instead the presiding officer will present you with your disclaimer and then you turn to the left for your photo opportunity. Please take note, when you do turn for your photo opportunity, look at the small camera on the right, that just went off with the flash. Don't look at the big camera on the camera. Okay? So after your photo, you just take a moment, and then you take a step back, and then you salute the presiding officer, and then you turn around and head straight down the carpet before you graduate. Pretty straightforward, right? Alright, so for those who are not familiar with the salute, you simply bow your head and touch your trencher with your right hand. So if you want to give that a practice, because you've been doing that a couple of times. And just as a final reminder, you will salute the presenting dean before you cross the dais, and then you will salute the presiding officer just before you leave the dais. Okay? So I'd like to take this opportunity for the graduating cohort here to have a class photo. Please note that this photo will be available publicly, so if you don't want your likeness displayed in public, just raise your hand and one of our ushers will assist with removing you from the photo. Right. So graduates, if I could ask you to all stand and turn around and face the back organ, where our GFP photographer will follow up my instructions.
Okay, you have two instructions for today. One, make sure you can see me and no one's hat is the weight of your face. Second instruction, you have to smile. That means if I don't see your teeth, you're not smiling. Sound good? Excellent. Right. Can you take a chest up? Your hands in, your hair looking good, straight your ties. Alright, here we go. This is the real thing. Everyone ready? Fantastic. Good. Keep your teeth out. Awesome. Last one. Thanks so much for your time, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, graduates. So those photos will also be available for purchase down at the GFP kiosk at the Nucleus Museum. Our ceremony will be commencing shortly, so on a final note, please ensure that any mobile phones or noisy gadgets or gizmos are switched off on silent. The ceremony will be commencing shortly. Feel free to sit there and talk amongst yourselves or wait for the academic procession, but we do ask that you just remain in your places during this time. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Please be seated. More than 17,000 graduates here in this beautiful Great Hall and also overseas in Singapore and in China. I would like to take a few moments to introduce you to the people that are here on the dais with me today. Seated in the centre of the dais is Professor Mark Scott AO, Vice-Chancellor and President of the University, who will preside over today's ceremony. The Vice-Chancellor is joined today by Professor Simon Bronnett, Head of School and Dean of the University of Sydney Law School, who will be presenting the graduates, and Kevin McCann AO, our Honorary Award recipient and guest speaker. The other people who are on the stage are the professors, academics, professional staff from the faculties and schools that have made such a large contribution to the success of our graduates that are here today. It now gives me great pleasure to invite Professor Mark Scott AO, Vice-Chancellor and President, to formally open proceedings.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to be able to welcome you here today to our special graduation ceremony. I want to acknowledge that the campuses of the University of Sydney are located on the traditional lands of a number of Australia's First Peoples. For thousands of years, across innumerable generations, knowledge has been taught, shared and exchanged on these lands, and it's with great respect that I acknowledge the Gadigal of Eora Nation, upon whose land we meet today, and I recognise and pay respect to elders and communities of these lands and their custodianship of these lands, and I also pay respects to elders past, present and emerging across Australia and wherever the university's campuses stand. We also want to acknowledge today that our Dalyell scholars are graduating with us. Elsie Dalyell was the first full-time female academic in our medical school, and these scholars across all disciplines embody the academic excellence of which the University of Sydney is extremely proud. This ceremony today has been arranged in order to present degrees to those who fulfilled all the conditions required of them by the statutes of the university.
Vice-Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present Kevin McCann AO to you for admission to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, in recognition of his outstanding contribution as a lawyer to business and the wider community. Kevin is a graduate of the University of Sydney, awarded a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Laws with honours. He later graduated from Harvard University with a Master of Law. His impressive legal career was launched in 1970 when he began working as a corporate, commercial and resource lawyer with Allens Arthur Robinson, a leading law firm in Australia. After leaving the company in 2004, he served as the independent director and then chairman of Macquarie Group Limited, independent non-executive chairman of Origin Energy Limited, and non-executive director of BlueScope Steel Limited. Kevin has devoted himself to several cultural, educational and social justice organisations, including the National Library of Australia, the Sydney Harbour Federation Trust, an Australian government agency that is responsible for the restoration, remediation and conservation of some of Sydney's most important harbour site heritage and environmental sites. And he was a founding member of the Male Champions of Change, an organisation committed to working with influential leaders across business, politics and education to redefine the role of men in acting on the issue of gender equality. Kevin has demonstrated a focus on Australia's position in the global stage through his involvement with the United States Study Centre at this university, which is dedicated to the rigorous analysis of American foreign policy, economics, politics and culture. He is the National Co-Vice Chair of the New Colombo Plan Reference Group and has been deeply involved with the programme since its inception. The New Colombo Plan is a visionary scholarship pilot programme initiated by the federal government that aims to lift knowledge of the Indo-Pacific in Australia by providing a new generation of Australians with practical experience living, studying and gaining workplace skills in the region. Kevin was appointed a member of the Order of Australia in 2005 for his service to the law, particularly in areas of mining, corporate and commercial law, and to business and community. And in 2020 was awarded an Officer of the Order. He has served as a Fellow of the University of Sydney Senate, Pro-Chancellor of the University, and served on various Senate committees, and continues to hold the role of Presiding Pro-Chancellor. Kevin has led an extraordinary career in law, spanning more than 5 decades across many major listed companies in Australia. Beyond this, he has generously used his insight and wealth of experience to act as a leader for positive change, influencing the thinking and general well-being of the wider community. Vice-Chancellor, I present Kevin McCann AO for admission to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa and invite you to confer the degree upon him.
Kevin McCann, you're here in the Great Hall of the University of Sydney, surrounded by friends, families, colleagues and admirers from your long and distinguished time in the law, in community service and of service to this university. So I'm very proud that in the name of the Senate and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor, I grant you the degree Doctor of Law honoris causa.
Would all candidates please stand? Vice-Chancellor, I certify that all candidates whose names appear in the printed programme have successfully completed the requirements for the degree for which they are to receive.
In the name of the Senate and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor, I acknowledge your admission to the degree to which you are entitled.
Please be seated.
Vice-Chancellor, I present candidates from the University of Sydney Law School who have been admitted to the degrees. Degree of Bachelor of Laws, Honours Class 1, Sarah Edith Chirac. Noah Corbett. Genevieve K. Coufret. Alexander Kiefer. Gregory Peter Lukatis. Alexandra Alana Tao. Degree of Bachelor of Laws, Honours Class 2, Division 1, Sarah Elise Braga. Annie Chen, Robert David Jeffrey Clark, Xing Brenda Lee, Colin Stewart Taylor, Alan Jane, Degree of Bachelor of Laws, Peter Madden Elliott. Olivia Titania Batcock. Adam Boyden. Lily Chang Jiang. Jeremy Chong. Ching Lam Gordon Choi. Jihe Choi. Su Keong Choi. Madison Copeland. Anya April Das. Ellie Madison Dickinson. Nina Helen Kathleen Dillon Britton. Elena Duong. Alex Edward Fauchon. Primo Charmaine Fernando. Megan Claire Fitzgerald. Amelia Agia Fu. Yuran Fu. Thomas McElwraith Fulton. Yijin Gan. Murray Francis Gatt. Jyoti Giri. Jia Wen-go. Chloe Alexandra Hamer. Benjamin John Holmes. Wendy Hu. Alice Mary Ireland. Alexander Jake Isaac. Duranka Viran Jayasanga. Sophia Ju. Emma Mandy Kay. Patrick Keogh. Grace Yeun Kim. Nayeon Lee. Soon-Yu Lee. Yujin Lee. Imogen Elise Lewis. Cindy Jiatong Lee. Lejun Lee. Genevieve Mu Shandron. Blake Robin Lovely. Ariel Jia-Yun Lo. Patrick McCarness. Bernice Ann Wen Ann. Michael James Liu. Siyu Mao. Jacob Alan Messina. Lachlan John Minogue. Amber Moss. Bianca Julietta Ung. Madeleine Hui Ying Ong. Talia Ji-Young Park. Michelle Patricia Picone. Nicolette Marie Pecates Tardiani. Louise Courtney Press. Grace Q. Daniel Thomas Reed. Kavisha Trishil Shah. Maxim Shanahan. Mritika Shankala. Jiying Sheng. Davenstein. Shana Elizabeth Streeter. Gail Genevieve Ting. Bennett James Walsh. Naomi Xiao Wang. Vivian Pusey Wong. Kate Shenye. Jackie Zhizhan Cheng. Degree, a Bachelor of Laws, Honours, Class 1. Grant Robert Kinniston. Degree of Bachelor of Laws. Gavin Nicholas Cabello. Sophie Harrow. Jessica Jinkian Kwan. Nicholas Ured Lee. Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. That concludes the presentation of graduates from the University of Sydney Law School. Vice-Chancellor, I now present candidates from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences who have been admitted to degrees. Degree of Master of Philosophy, Benka Lu. Degree of Master of Digital Communication and Culture, Duc An Lee. Degree of Master of Strategic Public Relations, Sandrine Michelle Elevi. Matthew James Orellana. Vice-Chancellor, I now present a candidate from the Faculty of Engineering who has been admitted to a degree. Degree of Bachelor of Information Technology, Kamir Asarodi. Vice-Chancellor, I now present candidates from the Sydney Conservatorium of Music who have been admitted to degrees. Degree of Bachelor of Music Studies and Bachelor of Arts, Madison Amber Briggs. Degree of Bachelor of Music, Performance, Chloe Elise Lanxier. Vice-Chancellor, I now present candidates from the Faculty of Science who have been admitted to degrees. The degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Emma Elizabeth Spencer for a thesis entitled The Web of Death, Scavenger Communities and Interactions on Carrion and Australian Landscapes. Degree of Bachelor of Liberal Arts and Science, Zuhal Hamidi. Degree of Bachelor of Science, Jack Perkins. Degree of Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Advanced Studies, Agriculture, Honours, Class 1, Matthew Paul McElroy. Vice-Chancellor, I now present candidates from the University of Sydney Business School who have been admitted to degrees. The degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Cam Bin Dao. Li Tong Xiao. Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. That concludes the presentation, but not quite. Last, but not least, number 100. The degree of Bachelor of Arts, Sarah Blenker. Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. That concludes the presentation of graduates of the ceremony. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the graduates who are not able to join us today. These graduates and their guests are tuning in via the live stream in Australia and from around the world. At the close of this ceremony, their names will appear on the screen in recognition of their achievements. I ask that all who are present join me in a round of applause to wish them well in their future endeavours and let them know how proud we are to have them included as University of Sydney alumni. I would also like to acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander graduates today, not only in our law cohort, but across all the different faculties. Indigenous knowledges are the first knowledges of Australia. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples are the custodians of those knowledges, including first law, and we recognise and congratulate you today. It is customary in this opportunity for the Dean to make a few remarks. And I'm also conscious that, of course, we have law students, but also students from other disciplines. So I hope the students from the other faculties will bear with me. But some of the messages that I have will resonate. And the last few years have been very challenging for everyone. And I joined the Sydney Law School as the Dean only 6 months before COVID pandemic struck. And it's wonderful because, of course, some of the students that are crossing the dais today are students that I met in their very first years, or in their early years. And to see them graduate, as I've become a very proud Dean of all the achievements of the students, particularly through the struggle of COVID. I would like to particularly say something about the venture that you're on now. There are many and varied pathways that take you beyond Sydney Law School. And those that have used the new law building will have passed a plaque in the foyer, probably not noticing it by the lift, in which Benjamin Cardozo, the US Supreme Court Justice from the 1920s, says the law, like the traveller, must be ready for the morrow. And I always think of that, how we are equipping lawyers for a law that will be ever-changing. You've just begun that journey of learning the law, and you'll continue to learn that through the course, into many and varied careers. And to those who are not lawyers, or not going to be lawyers, including the graduates and other faculties, there's still the Juris Doctor program for you. And we're open to all the wonderful opportunities for you to continue to study as a postgraduate in this university. So I just want to wish you well in the next phase of your career. Some will know where they're going, some maybe at that point are not sure in the crossroads of their lives where they're going to go. And all I know from 30 more years of being a legal academic in Australia, you will end up everywhere. It is the most wonderful thing to be a dean of a school where the students come from many places and pursue careers not only here in Sydney but across the globe. All I would say is that please know that your school, your teachers, the wider university is very proud of your achievements, and we love to remain connected with you. And we're always proud, like parents, to boast of the achievements of our children, and please keep in touch with the school. So thank you very much.
The university takes its achievements in research very seriously. So in recognition of their achievements in research, would Dr. Emma Elizabeth Spencer please stand? And now I would like to invite the members of the academic procession to stand and salute our newest doctoral graduate. Please be seated.
How wonderful it is to celebrate graduation together. I never feel more of an imposter than at a law graduation, because I myself only completed 3 years of my combined arts law degree, and I never quite made it to Phillip Street. So already every graduate today who completed their law degree has gone better than me. But it does remain an option for me down the track, Dean, to come back and complete my Juris Doc with you. It's wonderful, particularly wonderful, I think, in this time to be able to celebrate graduation together. All the more so after the recent years of disruption, and particularly because we want to celebrate these students who've shown remarkable resilience and a capacity to stick with their studies during the disruptions in recent years. Our graduates today are entitled to have a strong sense of personal pride. It was great talking to so many of them just now about the challenge that they have taken on and delivered. And I said to some of them, you know, you made it. And there are times, I think, during a long and tough degree, you wonder if you're ever going to make it. Well, today's the evidence that you've made it and you've met all those requirements and you graduate from the University of Sydney. Wonderful chatting and hearing about the places they're all off to. Numbers of them going to Allen's, which will bring joy to our occasional speaker, but other major law firms as well. But numbers going to work in the non-profit sector, numbers already working with government, some working with the DPP, others working as judges associates. And one I particularly like who's taken her law degree and is off to become an artist. This is just the way that it should be. And as the Dean said, a law degree opens up so many opportunities, and we look forward to tracking your progress with great distinction. You know, you're surrounded here at graduation, so many of you, by those who've supported you along the way. Firstly, fellow students, I think we know that we learn best together. We learn well in partnership. So the friends and associates we make along the way are so important to our individual success, and I hope that you find, as I found through my time as a student here at the university, the friends you made at university become your lifelong friends, and they stick with you all the way. But as well, family that's been there for you, providing you with some strength and stability and practical support. And represented on the stage today, the staff, the lecturers, the tutors, the mentors, the guides have also played such an important role in your academic and personal progress through the University of Sydney. And it's that partnership that really makes graduation such a community event. A sense that you've made it, you've done the great work, but an acknowledgement you've done it with great support. And we are all thrilled with your achievement today. You're now a graduate from Australia's oldest university, and you've graduated in one of the most famous buildings in Australian higher education. And so many distinguished leaders of this country have preceded you across the stage here at the Great Hall. We note that Anthony Albanese is the 8th Prime Minister now who's been a graduate of the University of Sydney. In fact, we've had 3 of the last 4, or 4 of the last 7. There have been quite a few Prime Ministers in recent years, as we know, and so many of them being graduates of the University of Sydney. Who knows whether Prime Minister graduates 10, 11 and 12 are with us in the hall today? We'll leave it to you to speculate who that might be. But whatever you do, wherever the road takes you, we trust that, as we say here at the University of Sydney, you exercise leadership for good. Because leadership's not about the position that you hold, but about the person that you are. And here at the university, we believe that leaders are made and not born. And we trust that you decide to model the qualities of leadership that we've talked about while you've been a student here. That through your professional career and in the personal life and in the choices that you make, you exhibit courage and confidence. You exhibit tolerance. You show a capacity to embrace change and be a force for change for good. That you're someone of great empathy and someone of great integrity and someone with remarkable resilience. And as you exhibit these values, these characteristics, these traits, as you're true to yourself and steadfast in these values, we know that wherever you go, whatever you do, you will exhibit leadership for good. And we want you to understand as well that even though this is a momentous day today, as far as your relationship with the university is concerned, we see graduation as a milestone, but not a finishing line. Because the learning has really only just started. You're going to be living and working in such a fast-paced world, transformed by technology, radically altering the nature of work that you do. And to stay on top, to stay ahead, learning will be a key to your mastery. And here at the University of Sydney, as graduates of the university, we want to be your partner in this lifelong learning. Already a number of our graduates today have signed up for further graduate study, but opportunities for micro-credentials, cross-disciplinary explorations, no matter where your curiosity might take you, we hope that we might be your partners in learning through your life and through your career. But I suspect today further study is a little bit remote from many of your mind. It's time to celebrate. You're part of a community of 400,000 members who are graduates of the University of Sydney across nearly 200 countries. And we're proud of you today, and we're proud of our continuing connection with you. Exciting doors open for graduates of the University of Sydney. May you find success and fulfilment in every area of your lives. And now it falls to me to introduce our occasional speaker today. We've already bestowed on him an honorary doctorate and already heard so much of his achievements. An extraordinary career of leadership in the law, moving on to great and significant positions in corporate governance and some of the most important institutions in the country, a leader of national cultural institutions, a long-standing fellow of this Senate, a Pro-Chancellor of this university, and now a holder of an honorary doctorate from this university. will you welcome our occasional speaker, Mr. Kevin McCann, AO.
Well, let me begin by acknowledging that today we meet on the land of the Gadigal people of the Aurora Nation and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Vice-Chancellor, thank you very much for those generous remarks and for the award conferred upon me today. I graduated in this great hall in 1964 and thought that this would be the last degree I'd ever get from the University of Sydney. It was unexpected. It's taken 5 appointments to finally get here. I was awarded it in 2019 and COVID got in the way, but here we are today, safe and sound. I'm absolutely delighted and honoured to receive it. It's also a great privilege to give the occasional address today, and I'm afraid I wrote this for law graduates, but look, the rest of you can enjoy it. I'm sure there's something that you'll get from it. I've enjoyed a very fortunate life, and I thought I'd share with you how that came about. Well, Seneca has a very well-known saying. He said that good fortune is not luck, but rather what happens when preparation meets opportunities. And I would add to Seneca that I think that you have to have purpose and values in your life as well. Well, the first opportunity that opened up to me was that I was domiciled in this country. All of those who are going to live and work in Australia have the good fortune to be in a liberal democracy which adheres to the rule of law. No person is above the law, and the executive government cannot issue regulations, decrees or rules without legislative authority. The competitive spirit of individual freedom, and particularly freedom of speech and thought, has provided a wealth of ideas in our community. And there's a lot of contributions that have been made to it. Health outcomes, improvements in our standard of living, education, innovation, and more robust civil rights. Throughout my life, I've benefited from this environment, and I think we have the risk of taking what we have here for granted. I accept the system has flaws. We have entrenched inequality of opportunity, welfare systems that are not fit for purpose, and we've been very slow to deal with climate change. Vice-Chancellor, may I congratulate the University and also Professor Bronner in the steps that you've taken to address inequality of opportunities to admissions to elite faculties in the university. I think that's a great step forward. Well, my preparation for the career, my career began when I decided to study arts law. While my arts course was beneficial, I wasn't really a very outstanding art student, but when I came down to law, which was in Phillip Street, I became a committed and motivated student. From the beginning, I was attracted to private law, corporations, commercial law, contracts and equity. And by my second year, I decided that I wanted to practice corporate law. And without doubt, my time at Sydney University, it was a 5-year course, set in motion a life-changing experience. Now, in 1962, a law student had to undertake 3 years of practical training as an article clerk to get admitted as a solicitor. And I had the very good fortune to be offered articles at Allen and Hemsley, now Allen's, which in that year only employed two clerks, one female and me. A really good piece of fortune. After graduating in law, I decided to undertake postgraduate studies at Harvard, where I first experienced the Socratic method of teaching. After the gentle teaching in Phillip Street, it was a shock. It required critical analysis of class materials and intense preparation. Students were regularly called upon in class by their professor and had to defend their analysis of cases and statutes from highly critical commentary from your professor, who was a leader in his or her field, because there weren't any female professors, and it was certainly not a process for the faint-hearted. A collateral benefit of being in Harvard at the time was that I was exposed to some of the great minds of the time. Henry Kissinger was teaching geopolitics, and J.K. Galbraith was teaching economics. I came out of Harvard a much better lawyer, as the Socratic method prepared me for the cut and thrust of corporate practice. I had a global outlook and was accustomed to diversity. My life-changing experience at university was now complete. I can say that postgraduate study overseas was one of the best decisions I ever made. In those days you went to the United Kingdom or the United States. Now you have, as was mentioned by one of the speakers, the New Colombo Plan enables you to study in Asia. So you have a global opportunity which I would strongly recommend you take up. Well, after I finished in America, I was invited to rejoin Allen's. At the time, it was growing very rapidly. I became a partner at the age of 29 and was later elected chairman of the firm from 1995 to 2004. I agree with Steve Jobs that to be fully satisfied, you need to do what you believe to be great work. I found it for 34 years in corporate practice. However, when I realised that I had fulfilled my ambitions in legal practice, I left it to become a full-time executive director. Now, right from the beginning of my legal practice, I had exposure to corporations in Australia and globally. My principal client was Pioneer Concrete, a building material company in the top 20 of the Sydney Stock Exchange Index. It was led by a first-generation Australian, the dynamic Sir Tristan Antico. Completely out of the blue, he rang me up one day and said, "I'd like you to join my board." I was at the ripe age of 36. My senior partner was appalled. He said, "You are too young and completely immature." And he went off to see Sir Tristan to persuade him that I was the wrong choice and that there was another partner who would be better. Happily, Sir Tristan, he failed in that approach to Sir Tristan, and I joined the board. The point is that the opportunity was completely unexpected and unplanned, and it was the beginning of a very fulfilling career as a non-executive director of listed companies, both private and government. I think that as a director, I gained a broader vision of Australia and the world that I experienced at the end of my legal career. At the end of my legal career, I was focused on 40 sections of corporations. Being an M&A expert, well, it was getting pretty narrow. Initially, I attributed the offers I received to join boards or later become a chairman to luck. But I realise now that the skills I acquired in law led to my first opportunity, and with board experience, it created further opportunities for me. Let me now turn to the importance of purpose and values in my life. The study of philosophy at Sydney University enabled me to develop values which have been essential in law, business and my life. The question, is this the right thing to do, has been a useful touchstone when people and institutions I've been involved with have sought to rely upon the absence of a legal prohibition to justify actions which were unfair, inappropriate or contrary to general community expectations. Well, purpose doesn't stay the same. My initial purpose was focused on personal issues: marriage, family, career and financial security. Later on I realised that while they were necessary, though no longer sufficient. Seneca proved to be correct again. My preparation for life as a student, lawyer and director paved the way for my final opportunity, which was to contribute to our broader community. And the areas that interested me were gender equality, social welfare, education, particularly Indigenous education. And I found really special fulfilment contributing to the University of Sydney. I participated in the government's reform of the Senate, led by Chancellor Belinda Hutchison. I was involved with Professor Ron McCallum in funding your wonderful new law school. I've helped Professor Bronnet support socially disadvantaged students, and Professor Bronnet can make a dollar go further than anyone else I know. I also had the benefit of sponsoring some lectures in resource law and mentoring Dalrymple scholars. Actually, I think I was mentored by them. I've never worked with such outstanding, they were all lawyers, outstanding young lawyers, and that was a great privilege and pleasure. The university relies very heavily on alumni coming back as volunteers to facilitate its mission, and I urge you to join their ranks when the opportunity arises for you to do so, as I'm sure in my case you'll find it extremely rewarding. Well, George Bernard Shaw wrote in Back to Methuselah, "Life was not meant to be easy, but with courage it can be delightful." While I'd agree with Shaw, I'd counsel you that your life journey will not be one of linear delight. It will zig, it will zag, and have its ups and downs, and you'll need courage and resilience to stay the course. Now, despite media gloom and pundit gloom about the state of our society, I am optimistic that we can reinvigorate liberal democracy in Australia and preserve its benefits. We also enjoy the strongest performing economy in the OECD, and that is actually not due to luck. It is due to Australians pursuing opportunities that this country makes available to us. Now, I've met many of your graduating class, and I'm confident with your intelligence, enthusiasm, integrity and humanity, you will be prepared for and successful in taking up opportunities when they become available to you. Now let me conclude that wisdom and inspiration are found in very, very unlikely places. Yesterday I saw this quote from Mark Twain on a basin in a men's toilet at Allen's, and I recommend it to you. Explore, dream, discover. Best wishes in your endeavours.
So the formal part of the proceedings have now come to an end, and the academic procession will leave soon. The new graduates are invited to join the procession as we leave. As you leave the Great Hall, please just listen to the staff as they direct you into the cloisters of the quadrangle, where there'll be refreshments and photograph opportunities and lots of chance to celebrate with your loved ones. If I could just ask the guests to remain in your places just until the procession has left, but don't worry, you will be reunited with your loved ones once you get out into the quadrangle. Now will you all please rise for the academic procession.